Well, today is Ricky's 30th birthday, so he's going to lead us in the pledge. Happy birthday, Ricky. Yeah. All right, Jim, just in time. Minutes and claims.
Got August 13th minutes.
Any questions or comments about the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor by aye.
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 Minutes done.
And I've got August 16th payroll for $1,350,855.18.
Motion to approve August 16th payroll.
Seconded.
All in favor by aye.
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 Then we've got the claims docket for August 10th through the 16th for $791,165.93.
Any questions or comments about the claim docket?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor by aye.
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 Motion carries. Anything else, Mr. Bramble?
That's it.
Property fraud alert and prevention agreement. I think this is the recorder's office.
Good morning. I think you're not on.
Diana Smith, Vigo County Recorder. The Recorder's Office is very connected with CSI. We are involved with Equity Protect, where we want to be. We have recently sent in an email to the commissioners and Terry Modisett regarding Equity Protect. It is a program that will help the citizens to protect their land. And so we're going to have Dusty kind of let you know what it involves. And we're going to let him talk more about it because he can let you know exactly. We have talked to Terry Modisett about it. He had a little problem with some of the verbiage, and I think he went over it, and he says now that he has no problem with how it's worded now. So we're going to let Dusty talk to you a little bit about it. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Dusty Wicker with CSI. I do have a couple of handouts here. I had a PowerPoint presentation, but I printed it off too, so I'll bring that up for you guys to review. So just a real quick background. CSI, we're a Hoosier company. We're based out of Fishers. We work with 50 recorders here in Indiana, and then we also work with 2 up in Michigan. We actually have a long history with Vigo County, going back to the clerk days when Pat and Bill Mansard were clerk. So we've been in Vigo County for a long time. We're doing a new partnership with a company called Equity Protect. What they do is they have a patented property fraud prevention solution. So like right now, the recorder's office has Property Watch, which is through a third party called DocsPop. And that's where anybody in the county can go in for free, and they can sign up for an alert anytime that something gets recorded that either meets their name or their property, their legal description. That's a free service, but that is reactive, okay? So if somebody does steal your property, you now have to get an attorney, work with your prosecutor, file charges, and get that reversed. So we are working with Equity Protect. The first couple pages here just talk about what fraudsters are doing. So they're looking for people that have no mortgage on their property. They're looking at people with vacant land, so they don't have a home there. They're looking at people with second homes where you're not there all the time. Maybe you're renting it. So Equity Protect, they will let the person come in. They do a free risk assessment. So when a person signs up for it, they go in, the very first thing they do is they put in their name, they put in their address, then they will get a report that comes back and says, hey, you are either low risk, medium high, or high risk. Then it's up to the person to decide if they want to take part of this whole subscription service. Okay, there's no cost to the county for this. It costs you guys nothing. The cost is to the consumer if they decide that they want to do this. On page, looks like 4, I've got on there the overall risk for your county. So 33% of your parcels are at low risk, 18% are medium risk, 30% are medium high, and then 19% are high risk. Couple other things I want to make sure that I mention. This can be signed up for by anybody anywhere right now, even without signing this agreement. It costs them $279 plus recording fees plus tax if they just go through the Equity Protect website. If you guys sign this agreement, it actually gives it to your property owners for $149 flat. So that is the startup cost. They pay that for the first year, and then each year thereafter it's $99.95. There's also a monthly subscription that they can do, so if they don't want to pay an annual cost, they can pay $12.95 a month. The next couple pages there, one thing that we do for the recorder is we create a website that is completely customizable. Whatever Diana and Chris want on here, we can get it on there. That's where your property owners will go to get their free risk assessment score. It's where they will go if they decide they want to sign up for it. The next page there, that's actually a copy of the risk assessment report that they get emailed to them. So that will show them their risk and what all they're basing that on. The next slide here is just the setup process. So they go in, they set up their account, they search for their property, they go through, I think I went through 30 questions that really drilled down into, am I really the property owner? So it's asking, who was my mortgage originally with? Going through all those questions to make sure that it's not just some random person trying to take someone else's property. Then they decide if they want, what kind of plan they want. So that would be the annual plan or the monthly subscription plan. Then they set up their biometrics, which is where they set up their, do a facial scan essentially, and then they get access to the app from there. The next page there is just some sample documents. Essentially what they're doing is they are recording a voluntary lien against the property so that when someone goes through and does a title search, that gets picked up. And from that title search, they then cannot release this document, this voluntary lien, unless the property owner says, yep, I'm doing a refi or I'm selling my house. So they actually get an alert on their app that will tell them, hey, this bank or this closing company is trying to access your records. Do you want to allow it or not? So that gives full control to your property owners. Yeah, and that's what those last couple pages are. It's just kind of that, the documents that will get recorded, the steps that the title searcher would take to be able to go in and try and get access, and then the client approval is the app that comes up and asks them if they want to give access. Any questions?
Any questions from the commissioners?
So in your agreement here, so it says the competition versus you. So
Yep.
this is a service provided, and you would have, so if I wanted another, what do I say, insurance or protection on my title, I could actually subscribe to two different ones?
You could. So I think the biggest competition out there is, they call it home title lock. There's a lot of commercials about that.
Right.
So that home title lock does not prevent property fraud. Home title lock is essentially doing exactly what Property Watch does, and that Property Watch is just giving an alert after the fraud has taken place. They charge like $400 a month or something for that, or I'm sorry, a year for that. And there's actually a lawsuit going on right now because they're getting sued in Florida.
Okay.
What counties do you guys do this in right now in Indiana?
Okay, so Hancock County was our pilot county. They went live in, I believe, June. Clark County just went live today. We've got Shelby County, Adams County, Switzerland County, Fayette County, and I've got contracts out to about 10 other counties as well.
You may not know this, so this morning about 8 o'clock, I got a phone call, could potentially be spam. Hello, this is Bruce. Is this Bruce? Do you have any property at Winterberry Drive for sale? Is this people searching for information?
That's a phishing scam. Yep. So they're trying to find people that have or have not properties. They're trying to find out if you have a mortgage on it, and then they'll use that to defraud. We actually have a case going on in Hendricks County right now. This one actually ended up being a family dispute. So mom and dad rented property to their daughter and son-in-law. They ended up having to evict them because they didn't pay. And so the son-in-law went to the recorder's office and filed a quitclaim deed across the counter, got the property transferred, and now there's a theft, deception, and forgery case in the courts to try and get that reversed.
And if they would have had this protection, what would that have afforded
Yep.
the people?
Yep. So if they had the protection and it went through a proper title search,
Okay.
they would not be able to have done that. Okay, so the key is that typically if you are selling your property, it should go through a title search. It's not required in Indiana,
Right.
but it should. One of the other things I should have mentioned that Equity Protect does is in the event like we had at Hendricks County where they came into the recorder's office, made it through the auditor's office, made it through the assessor's office, it all got transferred. Equity Protect, if you are a subscribed member, they pay to get the property back into the rightful property owner's name. So it's like an insurance policy as well.
So a first-time home buyer goes to First Financial Bank, finances their home. At what point, if at all, does your company get triggered to then step in? I mean, would they, unless they know about your product?
Yeah, they would have to subscribe to the product to be able to have the protection. So that's where we kind of, the recorder will have the website that they can direct people to. We'll provide them with business cards that they can hand out at, parades, festivals. We've got Fayette County, they're actually setting up at their local farmers market and handing out these property cards so that people know that that service is there and available to them. And there's two levels, right? So we've got they also have the free thing, just like Diana has with DocsPop, but Equity Protect has the free service as well. So they can elect to do the free service or they can elect to do the paid subscribe service.
Does the county receive any commission off the fees people pay for?
No. So the recorder's office will get recording fees for the voluntary lien. And then when it's released, or if they do a partial release or any kind of recording, then they'll collect their normal $25 recording fee. That breaks out into several different funds, ID Protection Fund, Elected Officials Training Fund, County General, and the Surveyors Fund, I believe.
Do you have any idea how many incidents like this that you are describing have occurred here in the last few years?
Yeah, so the
Indiana.
FBI, in Indiana, we are actually pretty lucky. We just, in January and February of this year, the Recorders Association got together and did 4 different meetings across the state, trying to bring awareness to property fraud. And we found out during that there's only 2 reported incidents in Indiana that we know of. Now, the FBI has actually released a study back in 2021. They had 11,578 cases nationally, and that resulted in $350 million in revenue loss. And that actually, I had updated it in the spreadsheet and I didn't save it. In 2023, that actually went up to 396 million. So it's continuing to rise nationally.
How will you get this information out to potential customers? Is that going to be something that you guys hand out at the recorder's office, or?
Yeah, the recorder's office would kind of be the first step. We always recommend doing some sort of a press release when you do this. Get that out that way. We are also happy, we will actually foot the bill to send out a letter on behalf of the recorder to all the high-risk property owners, but we would never do that without the permission of the office holder.
One final question.
Yes.
So you have a person that has 10 different properties. Is that
Yes.
fee per property?
It depends. That comes up every time. Good question. It depends on the vesting. And what they call the vesting is, if you own it can be multiple properties as long as it's the same name. So Chris Switzer, if you've got, let's say, I think I looked you up and you had 2 properties. Yours is actually good because it's just Chris Switzer on both. Or at least that's how I saw it. Now, if you had one in, let's say, you and your wife's name, and the other just in your name, that would actually be 2 subscriptions because it's different vesting.
Sounds like a pretty lucrative business. What's the possibility that commission of some sort be paid to the county for the information that they are providing your company to provide this service?
That I would have to talk with, Equity Protect is actually a secondary business, so we're just partnering with them. So I'd have to run that by them.
Mr. President, I move to table this.
Table. Okay. Is there a second?
Yeah, I have a couple more questions also I'd like to talk about. So yes, second on table.
Motion to table until next week. All in favor, by aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, QPH contracts for courthouse. Ricky, I think both of these are yours, 2 different contracts. You want to discuss those real quick?
Morning.
And happy birthday again.
Thank you.
You don't look
Appreciate
a day over
it. Yeah,
29.
I feel like it. So the first one on the list is to add heat to the 4th floor stairwell at the courthouse. We've had issues over the years with freezing in that area. Had a couple pipes bust on the sprinkler lines. We fought it again last winter, so I think we need to take action to provide some heat in those stairwells. That would cover the north and south stairwell on the fourth floor. They would be adding ductwork into that area and also add the programming in the air handler controller. So they'd be able to monitor all that temperatures in that area as well in our system. That's in the amount of $8,117.
What do we do, Chris? Get called out on Christmas Day or New Year's Day?
Christmas.
Christmas, yeah,
Okay.
with a huge flood.
Yeah, it was going down almost to the first floor from the fourth, so.
Yeah.
I'd make a motion to accept this, try to correct this problem.
Okay.
Second?
All right, that's for the quote number BB 2402-002 in the amount of $8,117. So all in favor by aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that contract moves on. Next one.
The next one is also with QPH. It's to install a new BLEMO actuator heating valve on the north air handler. That has actually not been operational for a couple years. It does help regulate the heat throughout the courthouse on the north side. So we were asking to be able to go ahead and put a new one in on that air handler as well. And then that's in the amount of $5,635.
Any questions or comments?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right. Motion to approve and second for quote number BB 2402-001 in the amount of $5,635. All in favor by aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That contract carries. All right, Ricky, don't go anywhere.
All right.
We've got 3 or 4 Gibson contracts here. Looks like the one that we have first, Ricky, is the amount of $11,340.
Okay, I do have 2 of those in that same exact amount. Do you guys have that as well? Oh, okay. No, there was 2 in the amount of $11,340.44. One was for the boys' cell and then the girls' cell at juvenile.
Yeah, we got the girls' cell one.
Okay. Do you want me to discuss that one too?
Just kind of explain what the plans are for both of those.
Okay. So those are older units over there. We actually just had to change a compressor out on one of those because we couldn't wait. Those, like I'd mentioned, those are for the girls and boys cell at Juvenile Center. Those are actually up in the attic area above the cells, so there's a real small area. That's why that these 2 units are a little bit more than some of the others because of the install and what it's going to take to be able to get those units back up in there. And those are 2 new 5-ton units along with a 120K BTU natural gas furnace as well. So that would be heating and cooling in the girls and boys cell.
And what was your cost to change that compressor?
That was roughly almost $8,000.
So we're talking about 5 different units today.
Let's
Two in the boys and girls, 1 in the judges' chambers, 1 in the attic west, 1 in the break room, and 1 in E unit hallway.
Yes, so I had a total, I think, of 6 here.
Okay, 6.
Is that, you said you had 5?
Yeah, because I forgot that.
Oh, correct, okay.
Yeah, okay. So Terry, I mean, I don't know if you want to do all these individually. It's all in the same building. It's all, he's making up for all the units that haven't been replaced in that building. Can we do that? I mean, it's all Gibson services.
I think we can. As long as we delineate, that there's however many of them there are, et cetera.
Okay.
What do you think, Mr. Oliver?
The motion, pretty specific to each contract, name each separately,
Okay.
do one vote.
It's gonna be one vote, delineate each one in the vote then, so we know specifically there's 5 of them, or however many.
6,
and
yeah.
refer to the contract and the amount.
Okay. I'll be happy to make that motion.
Is that good for you, Jim, as far as
Yeah.
paperwork? Okay.
So we got specifically mention each of the 5 contracts.
I agree.
Okay,
So Ricky, just real quick. So this is all coming out of your budget that we already have. This is not any additional appropriations. This is your normal budget.
Yes.
Number one. Number
Is that
two,
correct, Sheriff?
like,
I mean, that was money that was set aside.
right. Okay, and these are, okay. Right.
Yeah, yeah, all these included together on this one is $62,421. And there was, I think, like 70,000 left in that fund, so.
Right, right. And these are over 20 years old.
Yeah,
And as Mike
most of-
said, just to replace the compressor is like 8,000, and this is going to be a whole new unit.
Yeah,
The
it's
compressor for
It's
10.
because of the R22 that went up. That's why the compressors
Yeah,
are so expensive.
I'm good with that. I just want to make sure everybody understood that.
And to also mention too, even the rooftop units and these units, they have a 1-year parts and labor warranty along with a 5-year compressor and coil warranty as well. So I forgot to mention that as well.
You know, I forgot to ask you something the other day when we were talking about some of this. Are these supposedly more power efficient?
I mean, of course, compared to the older units, yes, they are, because of the fact that, I mean, they're not as efficient either because they're older units. So we were actually over there yesterday working on one that wasn't, I mean, the fan was kicking on and off. It wasn't running efficiently because of it's an older unit too, so.
and then, also want to say for the public, we get the opportunity to meet with Ricky every Monday. And we've had this conversation for what, 6 months now?
For a while, yeah.
And I think about I think really the only issues we're gonna have left are just some things at the courthouse. All the rest of the buildings are gonna be where they need to be at this point.
Yeah, I mean, all the community corrections is gonna have all new, I mean, for the most part, you have one that's only like 2 years old, but all those rooftop units are gonna be new. The annex, besides the carrier units on this side, which are only a few years old, they're gonna have all new units. And then if all these get approved, juvenile will have all new units as well, so.
Okay?
And what's the warranty on these?
1-year parts and labor warranty and a 5-year compressor and coil warranty.
Okay. All right, well, I'll make a motion to approve all 6 Gibson Services Company contracts. Juvenile Center Boys Cell, I'm gonna try to go slow here, Karen. In the amount of $11,340.44. Juvenile Center Girls Cell in the amount of $11,340.44. The East Unit Hallway in the amount of $10,029.48. The Judge's Chamber in the amount of $9,683.28. The West Hallway of the Juvenile Center in the amount of $10,344.08. I believe the last one, that's 6, correct, Ricky?
6, yes.
Is for the Juvenile Center break room, and it's in the amount of $9,683.28. Motion's on the floor.
Second.
All in favor by aye?
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Great work, Ricky. That's a long time coming.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
Norm can finally cool off a little bit. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, 6 here, we have a contract with, we have a lot to talk about, American Adult Protective Services, I was thinking American Rescue Plan Act, but Mr. Monas has advised me that he would like to table that at this point, so.
Okay.
So I'll accept a motion to table.
Motion to table the contract.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor by aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, that leads us to comments from the public. Any comments from the public today? Seeing none. Any comments from commissioners or other elected officials?
ribbon cutting.
Yeah, go ahead.
Riley Trail, first section of that will meet at the Riley Town Hall at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening to cut a ribbon and open the 1.6 miles of trail completed. One of the first stages.
Yep, one of the first 3 or 4 projects of American Rescue Plan Act money with Engineer Robbins and the council got that approved. And 1.6 tenths, is that right, Mike?
1.61 miles.
Yes.
Commissioner Klinkenbeard wrote it the other night and charted it.
Yep.
Anything else?
No.
Auditor? Elected officials or department heads? Kevin? Josie? Nothing? Okay, stay in a recess. Thank you.